Modern technology.
Give it up, gonna be alright, gonna be. Give it up, gonna be alright. Give it up, gonna be alright.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Meetup with MeLa. I am here today with a very special guest. Again, for the month of March, just to remind everyone, we are celebrating women and the different work that they do. And today I have our friend, my special friend, Cindy, and she's going to be talking about animal rescue and rehabilitation, which is definitely very near and dear to most of us, especially those of us that have pets. So welcome, Cindy. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
The whole point was you're amazing. I'm happy to feature you. You certainly deserve the kudos. But no, I understand what you're saying, and I certainly appreciate that as well, because it does take a team approach. And one of the things I wanted to say, just to obviously animals, whether you have pets or not, they're very near and dear to a lot of us. Just to let you know, I read a fact that it says 67% of U.S. households, or 85 million families, own a pet. And that was in 2019 to 2020. And that's up actually 56% versus in 1988 when they did the survey, where 56% of U.S. households, actually, it was, 56% of households in 1988 owned pets. So again, it's up astronomically, almost about a good 30%. So we know animals have so many therapeutic, they're therapeutic to so many of us. I know my cats have been very therapeutic to me, and I was never necessarily, I wouldn't consider myself a cat person, but I've always loved animals. I can't say enough about it, but I think one of the biggest things, and this is one thing I want to touch on, is that we know with COVID and people being home, there's been a lot more adoptions. So a lot of people looking for animals. There's been a lot of adoptions. You've actually even helped my mom secure a cat during that time, where she adopted, which we'll be showing pictures later.
My God, baby. My God,
yes.
baby.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a god. Yeah, he's Cindy's godson. He was a little kitten, and he came from one of the rescues. And so, but one of the biggest things too, and I know that this is so important, how do we spot real rescues versus fake rescues? And that's the thing too. I realize, like, even helping my mom looks, and again, like some of these sites, I mean, a lot of times we were obviously looking for a rescue. However, there's people on Craigslist and everything else that are advertising these animals. And it's like, first off, the prices are astronomical. They're taking advantage of a situation where a lot of people are thinking, hey, listen, this is a time that I have more of the time to maybe, do some of the puppy training that I need to do in terms of having a puppy in the home, because I know I'm going to be home this whole year, or I know this is a good opportunity for me to do this or that or whatever else. So anyway, with that being said, obviously there are some real concerns here surrounding how do we spot real rescues versus fake rescues? And especially because some people can send money. They think, okay, I've secured this animal. Maybe it's a puppy, maybe it's a kitten, and they need time to wean from their moms. So you're thinking you might be giving, for a puppy, $500, for a cat, you might be even giving a deposit of $100. How do we know, how to differentiate this?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because that's a very important question, because especially now with people with COVID, more and more people are getting animals. And I'm just going to make a point we touched on before. Please don't get an animal and then it's just, you don't consider it part of your family, because our fear for as an animal rescuer, and other rescuers have this fear, people getting more animals because they're home and they want that companionship. But when they go back to work, they're going to be, so a lot of people are going to be, it's expected to authorize they're not going to want these animals no more because they're not going to need them. So hopefully people
Well,
will love,
yes.
because that happens. People are home, they expect to be home even before COVID, then they'll get an animal. It's like, oh, I'm better now, and then the animal goes.
Well, and
So
the other side of it is, I think you need to realize too, there's certainly an adjustment that your animal is going to go through when you go back to work.
yes.
And your animal is like sitting there, and yeah, they might be bored now because you're at work for
Hmm.
like you're gone long parts of the day, and now they chewed up your favorite pair of shoes. Don't
Hmm.
flip out. This isn't time to flip out and just like, oh, this cat is or this dog is nuts. It's like, and they're bad and they're this and they're that. You've got to realize
Yeah.
that's an adjustment for them. You've been there their
Yep.
whole time, and you've got to realize for animals, one of the biggest things that I think of is like they even say like we're their whole lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're
Yes.
like they only have us. They don't have the
That's
ability to
right.
go out socialize and stuff like that for the most part.
Yeah.
So again, like they are waiting on you because they love you, they need you, they want the companionship, they want to be close
Hmm.
to you. So like
Yeah.
again, where you're out socializing, again, this isn't something that should be perceived as like an inconvenience, like, oh my gosh,
Mm-mm.
they're gonna go through the adjustment when you go back to work or change your
Mhm.
schedule as well. And you have to understand that, you have to anticipate that, and you have to be patient about that
Yeah.
process.
And that's exactly what it is. What I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't think to bring that up. But yeah, what happens is they become bored and they get into things and they consider it destructive. And it's like, oh, I can't take care of this cat, this
Yeah.
dog, this cat is destructive. And it's like, but they're bored. So
Yeah, they're
something.
bored.
Your mother has the ideal situation. Her mom adopted a cat. It's her only cat. She has a couple of birds, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
she's.
show. Let me show a picture of him. Like
Oh
while we're
yeah, show
here, he
my
is.
grandson.
Here.
There's
Oh,
my
actually, let me take
Miko.
this down so we can see him. This is Miko, and he's a big boy. I think actually Miko learned
Yeah,
how to do selfies. It looks like in this picture he took his own selfie.
I know, right? And her
Good.
mom,
So
yeah.
yes,
Oh, I was going to say, your mom has the ideal situation because she has a fantastic next door neighbor. So when,
yes,
yeah, her mom, Melissa's mom is Leah. So when
here he
Leah
is.
goes to work, Miko goes to the neighbors who has a cat. There's her buddy, and they play together. And then
Yes,
when Leah comes home, Leah brings her back.
yes,
Sometimes
and
Miko doesn't want to leave. you
no,
know.
exactly. And this is the cat next door. So he was adopted right around the same time that Miko was, a little bit earlier, but they're about like a week apart. They come from different litters, even
Yeah,
though they almost look identical.
yeah, they
Sometimes
do.
like
I
between
couldn't tell them
Kathy, the neighbor, and also my mom, they say they have to look at their eyes sometimes because now they're neck and neck, like in terms of you can
apart.
see
Mhm.
their height. They're both boys. One's Odin, one's Miko. I can't tell from the back who's who in this point at this point. But Miko goes to what we call kitty daycare. So he goes right
Yeah.
next door. It's in the same hallway. He just walks over next door and he goes there and he has fun with his friends during the
Yeah.
day. And then he comes back because there's another cat as well, and he comes back, and then he's a little bit tired, but at least he's had some energy. He's got some of his energy out because they're kittens. They're kittens. He's not
Yeah.
even one yet. He'll turn
Yeah.
one in May, and so anyway, that's Miko. That's actually my we always say that's my brother. I always tell
Yeah.
Tiffany, I'm like, be prepared, your brother's turning one. She's like, who's my brother? I'm like, Miko. Like, what are you talking about? It's Miko. So
That's too fun.
definitely. So yes, so as we were mentioning in terms of
Oh yes,
we're having too much fun here, Cindy.
I know.
But
I know.
but that's the whole point. So so yes, in terms of like the rescue, so obviously like we mentioned, like my mom, she did adopt from Paws Watch, and I think you have sort of certainly helped her with that process and sort of
Mhm.
understanding the parts of like to filling out the applications, what places are known and good, and especially if someone, my mom has never adopted a cat before, so this was something new to her, and I certainly appreciate you helping her through this process. So with anybody else that's actually considering this, or especially dogs, I think dogs are a big one that people are looking out of state a lot of times, especially
Yeah.
when they're looking for a specific breed.
Mhm.
And with that being said, what are we seeing in terms of some of these real rescues versus fake rescues, and how do we
Okay.
spot those?
I'm going to be reading because I want to make sure, because this is so important. I don't want to miss anything, you
Okay,
know.
no problem.
But so I wrote things down. Basically, you know, it is true now, especially it's been for years and years, of course. But we have fake rescues, and the reason why they are fake rescues is because they can make money off of animals. So I just want to read my notes just to make sure that
Yes.
I'm hitting everything that I want to say. So what they do is, you know, they might be dog breeders. I'll tell you where they get their dogs from. They steal them from people's backyards because they don't want to pay for these animals. It's not like they're going to a rescue group. They want free dogs or free cats or birds or whatever the animals is. And they get money. They get adoption fee can be 120, and some of these fake rescues overcharge. And one of the way is to spot a fake rescue is if the fee is outrageous, check around, see how much that breed goes, or in that area how much other people are charging in rescues. If it's way over the top, more than likely it's, you know, it can be considered, it might be, I won't say definitely, but it could very well be a fake rescue.
If they're charging
as much, they want as much money as they can get.
If they're charging $250 for a short-haired domestic cat, it's like something's wrong. I mean, and especially, I mean, we always know that the costs for kittens are a little bit more just based on, like, you know, what they may need to be prepared to go in terms of, you know, the shots and everything else, and if they're being spayed and neutered. But again, like you said, is this like a private person? Are you able to find this person probably on websites too? Do they have the reviews associated? Like, what's up?
Yeah, and that's another thing, you know, check the reviews, because if people are saying, you know, bad stuff, this animal has died, this animal was sick, you know, then you know right away that that's not a rescue and they should be reported. So let me get into, so you have these fake rescues that want to you know, to make money.
Okay.
And break into houses. You hear, especially those French bulldogs are very expensive dogs. They are actually bred to be very friendly. You know, their bark isn't very loud. They're very sociable. They get along with any animals, cats, dogs, unless you train it out of them, of course. But their natural instinct is to be, you know, very, very friendly. So they'll trap them, especially with cats. People dump out their cats, or there's feral cats. You know, if these fake breeders might trap a feral cat, and it needs a lot of work and a lot of training, which you don't know. And they're not going to say, oh, it's friendly, you know. And any cat, a lot of cats might not be friendly right away, but after a week, they'll come around because they're afraid. And then you have the feral, you have to, you know, work with them. They just pick them up off the street. They illegally breed them. All you need is a male and female. And either they're backyard breeders, or they breed them in their house or whatever, you know, and the mother, they overbreed them until the mother just basically gets very sick and dies, because, you know, having one baby, that's a lot of stress on a female body. Right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So they just keep breeding them, these free puppies, free money, $100. The litter, if she has 6 puppies, say, even if they charged $100 or $600 right there, you know. So backyard breeders, they go to auctions, and sometimes I don't know what the circumstances are that they would actually auction off animals, but in auctions you can get animals for very, very cheap. Craigslist, never. I don't want to make this point. Always charge for your animal. If you have to give them away, you know, circumstances like we talked earlier, you know, it's unavoidable. Say some people might have to give the animal away because they're moving to another state because they got a great promotion, but the stress of taking the animal might be too much, taking it on the plane or whatever, or they just can't do it where they're going to the new place. Don't just give them away, because these fake rescues, that's what they look for. They look for these free animals.
Okay.
So you don't want to, you always want to charge. I was going to say something else too, and it flew out of my brain. But yeah, they'll go to an auction, Craigslist. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Cats. Cats are used to feed snakes, especially the younger ones. So you got kittens and you're giving them away for free. Somebody's got a snake, that's snake food. So
Yes.
do not, always charge something. And if they say, well, I can't afford it, if they can't afford $50, say, then how are they going to afford food? What if the animal gets sick? If they're telling you I can't afford that $50, then they don't deserve that. One, they don't want it bad enough, and two, if they can't afford that $50, then what about all the other stuff, the toys?
Exactly.
So
I mean, you can't. Yeah.
yeah,
You have to be realistic.
yeah. So don't feel guilty about charging. And if you do, then get them into a rescue. They'll charge more than what you did, more than likely.
Yes.
They might grab them from owners just walking down the street. That happened to Lady Gaga. Did you hear about that, Melissa?
No.
Lady Gaga, she has 3 French bulldogs. This was just in the last a couple of weeks, actually. She has 3 French bulldogs, and she has a walker who walks a dog. So he's walking down the street. I believe it was at night, and he was walking down the street, and a van pulls up, and men got out of the van with guns. Now these French bulldogs are expensive. Yeah. And they shot him in the chest. And they stole the dogs, and one dog got away, and they got the other 2 dogs in the van. And luckily the guy, he lived, but any closer to his heart, he would have died. They said he was like point blank. He just, shot him. And
that's very scary. That's very scary.
And this guy, being an animal lover, he's screaming, the dogs. He's not even concerned about himself. He's concerned about the dogs. And one of the dogs came back. And
that's how you know it's an animal lover.
Yeah, right. And she put out, I forget how much, but it was like astronomical amounts of money. Please return the dogs. No questions asked. No charges will be brought. Just give me back my dogs. And so a woman brought back the dogs, but it doesn't say whether she was part of how did she get the dogs, but it was no question asked. But she offered, like, say it was like $4,500 or something like that. It was a lot of money. There they go. They steal the dogs. They got $4,500. Really,
but at the same time, she probably wouldn't. I mean, any owner would not even be able to sleep thinking about like what was the point of this. Like, I mean, anyone that has any means would do the same thing or plus some, based on the fact that it's like, you think about it. I mean, again, it's a family member. It's like a family member being taken, and at the same time, not knowing what someone's intention is. I mean, it's never a good intention, right? Like, if someone was to take any animal or child or person, the intention is never a good one. So she probably was so relieved to get it back. But no, Cindy, I hadn't even heard of that. Like, wow.
Oh, that was all over the news. Yeah, that was big news. Yeah. So, yeah, and even if they sold them individually, or whatever, they would still get. I don't know. I think they go for over $1,000 anyway.
I bet a lot of dogs are very expensive in that way. And again, like, you just. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, the other thing too is like, when you even talk about some of these fake rescues as well, or even potential fake breeders, are people also, potentially making fake like certificates as to this is a purebred. It's been like, all this, it's been in shows or whatever. I mean, the thing about it is people, again, it's like if they're doing this for money, they're willing to say anything and do anything to get the biggest profit. So again, do some of your research, say, and I think one of the other things too is like, similarly, ask them, can I talk to someone? Could you put me in touch with someone that potentially may have been another person that, bought from you, or, whatever the scenario is, but certainly do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework. And I want to, before I get into how to tell the the fake rescuers from the real ones. I want to mention that these also fake rescuers, what they do is they have fake videos and pictures of abused animals, because the more abused an animal is, the more people are willing to open up their pocketbooks. So what they'll do is they'll get animals and they are actually hurting the animals, and then they either take a picture of the wound or this poor helpless animal. They need money for it. The vet is, going to cost a lot of money. People open up their, they play on people's heartstrings.
Emotions. Yeah, exactly.
Emotions. And the worse an animal is hurt, the more money that people are going to give, because that's just how people are. The greater majority of people are just fantastic, loving, and kind-hearted people. And then my research brought me upon a video. It's very important to report these people to your authorities and I'm going to go over that in a minute, but I want to say there was a dog, and there was a video about the wounds on this dog, and this dog is afraid and shaken, and it's got these wounds on it. And the rescuers were looking for money, and they're saying this dog was attacked by another dog, and the medical bills are going to be high, and blah, blah, blah. And viewers who are sharp, they're like, those don't look like bite marks. Those look like cut marks. And they reported him. They got a few reports. And when they investigated, they cut the dog, and they said, in lines, and they said they were bite marks, when in actuality, it was not bite marks. They were cut. So they probably took a knife and cut this poor dog. No wonder he's scared, and he's got fright in his eyes. And so thank God viewers were and that's one thing you look for. If you're looking at a picture and you're looking at a video and they're saying this is what this injury is from, and you're like, well, that doesn't match up what that injury should look like, that's a red flag. And even if you suspect it, report it, because it's better to report it and have somebody go investigate it and be a legitimate than not be a legitimate, because how many animals are dying or near death or suffering emotional, physical pain just to get money to feed off of, people's heartstrings. So I want to make that clear. So I'm going to start reading again, because there's so much that I don't want to forget.
Yes, definitely.
Let me see. I want to say, let me see where my I don't know why I have like two sheets here, and oh, that's the last one. Just bear with me for 1 minute. I have
no problem
right here, because I wanted to make sure I touched on as much as
I certainly appreciate that,
because once you start talking, you forget, it's like, oh, I should have mentioned that. So let me see. Rescue groups are classified as either nonprofits or 501c3 charities. The nonprofits are registered with the state Secretary of State office, while the 501c3 register with the IRS. And when they register with the IRS, they're tax exempt. Contributions to the nonprofit are not tax deductible. So if you give a donation to a nonprofit, you can't deduct it on your taxes. It's not. While contributions to a 501c3 charity, I don't know why they call it that, but are tax deductible. So it's important to check out that rescue, see if they're 501c3 or whatever. Let me see.
Or even registered with your state, like you're saying. Like, are they even registered? If they're not even registered and they're supposedly making all this money or selling, it's like, okay, and they're doing this on a regular basis. Well, why are they not registered? That could be another major red flag.
Exactly. So that's one way to tell that it's legit, is to check on that. So let me see. Oh, a real legitimate rescue will have documents to support their status with the IRS and are legally obligated to show you copies of those documents. And you can call the IRS to make sure that they're legit. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell a forge from a fake personally.
Yes, exactly.
So don't get their word for it, get their documents. And they give you any flack, they try to put you off, or they make you feel like, oh, trust me, or whatever. They give you any kind of flack or whatever, or resistance of giving you that.
Yes.
Bingo, that's a sign. Don't do it. A real rescue wants to know as much as possible about you. They want to make sure that the cat or the animal matches up with the personality. And
that's so true.
Your mom can say that. We were at the rescue for it was 2.5 hours. It was a beautiful day. We had the blast. We were like two little kids, or at least I felt that way, like two little kids, right? With all these cats. They sat her down. They asked her questions. Now, they were concerned because of the birds. That's what they were concerned.
Yes, because my mom has parakeets.
And they drilled her about the birds and what they did. And I don't know if your mom picked this up, but they were asking her questions and then go on to something else. Bring the same question back, but reword it.
To see, are you able to answer it? It's like a pet interrogation.
You're under investigation, just as much as you want to investigate the animal rescuer. You're under investigation. Don't look at it that way. They just want to make sure you're legit and you're honorable. And
that's what you want. That's what you want. I mean, because I've had the same thing. I have two rescue cats. One was rescued I rescued from the RISPCA. And I have to say, I mean, they did a tremendous job, first off, of giving me the information they had about the cat, and especially based on their observations, because she had been there for about 3 months. But then also what information they did get from the owner, which I think, that was like a mixed bag, whether some of that was true or not. But I really appreciated that, because sometimes they even said this cat needs to go to a home of someone that's going to be home all the time, or this cat is not good around young children, or this cat is not good to be around other cats. And then there were some that were the bonded pairs, they need to be adopted together. So I really appreciated that, because for me, it made me realize they really care about what they're saying. They really care. And then they also were asking me questions. And then secondarily, the other cat that Sabrina, was rescued by the North Kingstown Pet Refuge. And again, I felt the same way. They had many questions to ask. They were asking, in terms of, the living arrangement. And again, asking, is the cat going to have full access to the home? Are they going to be caged? How much do you plan on spending on this specific animal? And so, and really just, and some of that is also too, to maybe some of the people, when you're going in there, some people may have not taken certain things under consideration. So this is also a way too, for someone to do a mental check. If they said, well, I thought a cat cost maybe $10 a month, that's how much I can spend. They might then say, well, no, actually, we need to educate you on how much the cost can be. When a cat is healthy, an animal is healthy, as we know, it can be, sometimes it seems like barely anything. But then when they have a condition, are you prepared, like you said before, Cindy, to be able to attend to that cat's condition? Are you leaving multiple times? Are there loud sounds in the home? Are there other animals in the home? What does this consist of? And in both situations, I felt like they were very well informed. They definitely had the cats, the animal's best interest, but also my best interest, in terms of, there was one cat I was like, oh, this cat is really cute. And they're like, actually, that cat's a little bit more finicky. I don't know. I was like, okay, thank you. But they're like, but this other cat is super sweet, and then we ended up forming a bond, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not ever coming back here unless I'm ready to adopt another pet, because I do have to say, it's like you'd be leaving with 15 of them if you could, your heart just breaks, I love you. But it's one of those things. But I was very intentions on, okay, this is the right time. And then also the days that I went there, it was also times where I knew I also was going to have a little bit of a couple extra days. So I could also help introduce, bring the cat to the home, introduce them, be there, make sure they were settled, and follow, not all of a sudden get an animal and now I'm running out to work the next morning and not knowing what's going on in my home. So again, I really, really appreciate that as well. Like you're saying, in terms of the application process. And again, if it's a notable place, they also might feel like they can't rush that process. They maybe want you to fill out an application and maybe they'll get back to you. Maybe they need to do some reference checks in that. So I certainly appreciate that, because you want to know that the places that these pets are coming from, again, like you said, we're a team, right? So you want to know that they're doing their part
That's
as the
right.
team. And then me as the mom, the fur mom, or like with my little fur babies, that obviously I'm entrusted, and they know that these animals have gone to a good home, because that's heartbreaking. Nobody wants to feel like they've done all this potential rehabilitation and rescue, and then you find that this animal is worse off than had they just stayed in one of these
Exactly.
shelters long term.
And matching the right personality with the right animal personality to the right people personality is very, very,
Yes.
very, very important. And pet refuge is a lot more stricter. I actually, before, well, I lost my car about 3 years ago, and being on permanent disability, I haven't been able to afford another one. But I used to go down there. I'm a huge cat lover, so I would be in like cat heaven. I'd sit on the floor; they'd be crawling all over me. I just loved it.
Because
So
they
I would
do.
go,
When
yeah,
when you
pet
walk in, they're
refuge
like,
is great.
hello. The cats are like practically greeting you at the door.
Yeah, Renee is the owner. Renee and her
Renee,
husband,
yes.
Charlie. I think his name is Charlie. But fantastic people. I mean, I can't.
Yes.
They are amazing. They are really amazing. What they do at Pet Refuge is amazing. And they allow a lot of the cats to free roam around the building.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When you open up, the cats are like, hello, can I help you?
Yeah,
Like, basically, it's like they're right there. They are free roaming. And then
yep.
depending, like, some are obviously in cages, and then some are there long term because they know they're not planning on adopting them. But it is a no-kill shelter. And
Yep.
basically, based on certain injuries or circumstances, that they are taking care of them long term, which is also a very amazing and passionate thing.
Yeah. And you can see, and this is another way, a fake rescue don't always take good care of their animals. And if you see them and they're not, but Pet Refuge, they have over 100 cats. You walk in there, they're clean. They got a lot of stuff in there, a lot of cat stuff, but they're clean. You don't smell.
Oh no, I don't. Yeah, I have to say, I never even noticed that at all. Like when you walk in there, I mean, it's certainly cat friendly. Because they'll be on the couch and you're sitting there like they're practically helping you fill out the paperwork. I mean, it's like, hey guys, like I'm taking one of your friends home. I hope you don't mind. They're checking you out too.
Sometimes, like you take home a friend, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm taking your friend. But
I know, and you're like, I swear I'm doing something positive. Yes, definitely. But no, and that was where, that was my, we have 2 rescues, and the second cat did come from the Pet Refuge. And I have to say, I mean, we love her to death. I mean, and my cats are certainly family, and I'll certainly feature that. But I think that, Cindy, I mean, just in terms of,
your video stopped. You're frozen.
This being able to use real or fake. I think that's the other side of it. So being able to have that experience. So what would you say, like
I
what
just
would
want
you say
to
is
say, yeah, like I have a thought. And I just want people don't get offended if you are. And some Pet Refuge is very strict, but some rescuers aren't as strict, but still they still want to know who you are. Now a fake rescuer just wants your money, so it's like, just take this animal, give me your money, and just take the animal. And there's another
they're
thing,
not even asking any questions. Yes, it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, can I tell you about where my pet's going to be? They're like, oh no, don't even worry, we trust you. Yeah, and then something's up.
Yeah, and if they don't show you where they keep their animals, that's another sign. Ask them where they keep the animals. If they don't want to show you, they're hiding something. Yeah. Pet Refuge is right out there in the open. And there's going to be rescues we'll bring up later on, and we'll show you. But you'll get to see where the animals are from, how well they're taken care of, and so on and so forth. I didn't mean to cut you off, but sometimes I just want to add a little bit what you say.
Oh no, definitely. I certainly appreciate.
I'm like, Melissa, wait a minute, I just want to say one more thing.
No problem. I should have asked you. I apologize, Cindy. So what would you say? I think the biggest thing is, what can we do to help? Because
wait a minute.
Again,
no, there's more on how to spot a fake rescue.
I apologize.
Okay, let me just. I've done Yeah, I've done a lot of. So make sure they're legitimate.
Yeah.
You can call your state veterinarian too. There's a head of state veterinarian too. You can call them.
Oh, that's good to know.
They're gonna want to know about you and make sure you're a right match. They're not gonna just say, oh, just give me the money, don't worry about anything.
And your family a lot of times too, and other pets.
They're gonna answer all your questions. You know, if they feel like at first they might be friendly, oh yeah, but say you have a lot of questions about the background of the cat or the history or whatever your questions are, or about their rescue, you're gonna notice them getting a little nervous. You're gonna notice them, getting impatient and trying not to be nervous and trying not to. You're gonna sense that something is wrong. So a real rescuer wants you to ask the questions because it goes back to what we were saying. They want to make sure it's the right fit between the animal and human. So don't feel uncomfortable. If they get impatient, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's they got something to hide. A real rescuer has nothing to hide. Okay, so if you're going to a breeder, ask them where they keep their animals. Oh, as I've said, a license. Do they have a license to be a breeder? Where is that license? And again, they should be able to show it to you. You should be able to call whoever it is and check it out. And how you would check them out, you would check with the Better Business Bureau to see if it's a breeder, a legitimate breeder. You don't want somebody who has who's breeding, like I was talking before. They get a male, female, they breed them just to have the puppies, and they breed them, but also they breed the brothers and sisters, and a lot of times there's deformities that happen, and people have gotten puppies from a breeder where down the line, even weeks or months down the line, there's something congenitally wrong with those animals because they're inbreeding. That's the word I'm trying to say. So if you're going to a breeder, check your Better Business Bureau. You can call the American Kennel Club or the AKC because a legitimate breeder is registered. They pay a fee. They keep track of the puppies, and everything is kept track of. And the American Kennel Club is actually the oldest purebred dog registry. So that's important. And for cats, it would be the International Cat Association. So getting a purebred cat, call them and let them know. Fake rescues will be unsure of the animal's background or provide a health certificate. A real rescue gets an animal. If you go to a real rescue, they're not going to give you that cat to and just say, oh, the cat's unfixed, you'll have to get it on your own. They're going to get that cat fixed. That cat is going to have a medical exam, and it's going to have its shots. Sometimes a legitimate animal rescuer will give a cat, if it's very young, it may go, if it's going to a foster or maybe even adopt out on rare occasions where it hasn't been fixed, and they'll give you a certificate. I don't know if they did that with your mom or not. I can't remember. But and then when you get the cat fixed, then you get some money back. Or you get your cat shots, you'll get some money back. But fake rescuers do that, and then you don't. When you go back to get to say, hey, I got it fixed, I want my money back, they might have moved. They might have gone someplace else. You might not even know their real names. So so it's important to check, and it's best, and not for nothing, but they can get it cheaper than we can. Cost us like $300. But a rescue, a lot of times,
they have partnerships, right?
What's that?
They would probably have partnerships that they're able to Yeah,
and people do donate, and that's important. I'm gonna make that point very important, how important it is to donate later. So let me see. They call it a voucher. They'll give you the unfixed cat and they'll give you a voucher, and then you call back. But it doesn't always happen. So that's something to keep to keep out. Now, okay, I'm just there, unsure. I got all that. So now I want to talk about the fake videos that I was getting into earlier, where they actually hurt the animals. So fake pictures and videos to prey upon people's heartstrings. So how are you gonna know that? And I went over it again just as a reminder. You know, the injury did not match up with the rescue was saying how the injury happened, and luckily,
Yes.
you know, they thought. Let me see. Injuries, the pictures don't match up. All right. Real rescuers don't usually randomly oh yeah, this is a big one. Now, I said earlier, us rescuers, us diehard rescuers, our cars are set up. I even had a shovel in my car. I always joke, like if I ever got stopped and they found a shovel and it had blood on it, they might have thought I like hurt somebody. But I would have a shovel and that's how I would scoop the animal out of the road, you know, instead of having to touch it. But
Yes.
so I had shovel, gloves, a box to put them in, you know, first aid kit, you know, the whole bit. But one thing we don't have is like, we don't carry cameras well, nowadays we do have cameras on our
phones. Yeah.
But these rescue workers, when a real rescue worker, if you happen upon a scene where an animal needs to be rescued, it's hurt, your first thought is dive in and go help that animal. Where a fake animal rescuer will have a video. Oh, look at this animal. Look how much it's suffering. And then they try to get the right angle to catch the most suffering, you know, and you don't know what they're doing to that animal. They might have stumbled upon, you know, usually they don't. What they've done is staged the and you see the frightened animal. Well, they just abuse the animal and then they click on and they're not, their first concern is the video. No, the first concern is to get that animal in safety, see what's wrong with it, and get it help. There are times on the scene we have taken pictures to show people, but our first thing is to, you know, go in, help the animal. Stabilize it, and we might take a picture, and that's for the vet to see too, you know, but it's not like, so a fake rescue or a fake video, you know, everything is staged. It's like watching a movie, you know, you see an animal and they get closer and closer. That's not what's important. What's important is you go in and you help that animal first. And we do like to show before and after, and I've got some before and after. If you want to show those dogs, you know, before and after, and this is where you know, you really make a difference when you foster. I don't know if I'm getting off the subject a bit, but yeah, before and after, the dog is afraid. Now this is a legit rescue right here. Look, and as Melissa said earlier to me, it looks like in the right hand side, the dog is smiling. The dog is happy.
He's smiling. You know? He's happy.
He's you know, but if you notice, it's not a video, it's not a picture of the dog outside. Right now, that dog is in a kennel or a rescue. You can see that it's in a rescue. There's no picture of it, you know, wherever it was on the outside, suffering in the streets or whatever. And interestingly, and I don't mean to stereotype, but for some reason, most of the staged rescues are Vietnamese people for whatever reason. You know, that's statistically speaking, from what I read, that's statistically speaking. That does not mean just because it's Vietnamese people, then all of a sudden it's fake. But for some reason, they tend to do it more. And I don't know if they're a country that eats their dogs and cats. I don't know. I know. I think China does. China definitely does. But anyway. And what was there was another one of a German Shepherd. I just want to show.
I have a few actually. Yeah.
Yeah. See, again, this German Shepherd is in a home, and how much it came. But what we might take for before and after, because also a real rescuer. Oh yeah, that one's a neglect. You know, that might have been an animal hoarder actually who. sometimes animal
Sadly.
hoarders, their heart is in the right place. They get all these animals, but they can't afford to take care of them, and they see
Yeah, they
the animals
can't.
suffering,
Yes.
but they just can't. I don't know what the mentality of that is.
And
But oh
here's
yeah,
another guy.
and again, you see the cage. These are before and after, but they've already been taken out of a dangerous situation, put into where they're going to be taken care of, and we show the before and after, and we show it to try
Oh,
to
and
get,
here's another one, Cindy.
and that's my baby. Now, when I
Yup.
got her, she was free on Craigslist, and a rescue saw her on Craigslist. They were giving her away. They met in a Walmart's parking lot. Ends up, she's I forget what kind of breed she is, but Newfoundland. Okay, I'm on Newfoundland, and I forget. But anyway, she was a diabetic cat. She was undiagnosed. She was a diabetic cat. For her breed, she should be about 15 to 20 pounds.
Okay.
And she was 7 pounds, 7.5 pounds. She
Wow.
had it from head to toe. I tried to find pictures, but there's so many pictures to go through. And look at her eyes. You can see her eyes are, she was in,
And
she
look at
was in,
this.
and this is her now, and this is Mia now. So you can really make a difference. But and again, the point I'm trying to make, we're not sure. Oh yeah, she's my baby. That's another thing I want to say. When you rescue an animal, especially an animal that has been neglected, abused, or whatever, and they love you like you would not believe. They become so attached to you, and this is how she sleeps with me. Sometimes at night, sometimes she puts her head. If I'm laying on my side, she'll put her head on my forehead, and that's how she goes to sleep. But this is when I'm watching TV. That's how she'll sleep, and she'll just.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Things. So that's one of the ways to show a fake video is it looks staged. It looks staged.
Yes.
A real rescuer is gonna get that cat or get that animal in a safe place first.
Yeah.
So and then maybe there might be some situations where they'll show the animals and then they'll put the camera down. But when it goes, but it'll be like a second. This is where the camera, especially nowadays, now that you have the phone cameras and stuff. But they put the camera down, might be for a minute or so, but it's not like a 10-minute long video or 5-minute long video of some animal suffering.
Exactly. And the person's initial intention isn't necessarily, again, like you said, it's not like if they have a video, their intention isn't to make money off of it. It's the fact of like, oh my gosh, what is this? It might be like accidentally that they would come across something versus it's purposeful, it's staged. And again, like that, there's something that seems so, not genuine at all, like disingenuous in terms of someone that would have like a video of suffering. I mean, that's not something that anybody would want to usually see or bear witness to.
And there was one time, I don't know if you come across this, Melissa, but on Facebook, there was a lot of videos of animals suffering, and they're showing the animals shivering and suffering, and then they show the process. Those kinds of videos that I would question whether they were legit or not. It was always sending money to another country. You can't really check on the authenticity of if it's legitimate. I wouldn't recommend sending money to people like that because not that it's not important, but in your own neighborhoods, in your own state, there are plenty of rescue, and you might not see the videos, you might not see the pictures, but if they're an animal rescue and they're a legitimate, they're rescuing animals like that. Just because they're not preying on your heartstrings does not mean it's not happening. The fact is, it's more important, and it's instinct. You see an animal that's suffering, your instinct automatically, even if it was a human, an animal, is just automatically to help them.
Yeah.
So be wary of those videos and pictures, because these fake rescuers, they're causing the injury and they need to. And I'm going to say it again. I know I said before, but just to as a reminder, if you suspect anything, it's best to call just to make sure. If you're wrong, it's not like you're going to go to jail or be fined or anything, but good for you. It's the one time you want to be wrong. But if you're right, you'll be glad you did. You never know.
Yeah, when in doubt, check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be the motto. When in doubt, Check it
Check
out.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you're like,
Um,
and you know what? Usually, if like you said, Cindy, if something doesn't feel right or something doesn't seem right, it probably
mhm.
isn't right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like something's off, something's not right. Again, like if someone that has good intentions on something, they're not going to be elusive. They're not going to try to be distracting. They're not going to get upset that you're asking certain questions. They're actually going to be passionate and appreciative of the fact that you're actually trying to do the right thing. So I certainly
Yeah.
agree with that 110%.
Yeah.
If something doesn't feel right, then chances are chances are it's probably not right. And
Yeah.
you're doing actually these animals a service by potentially having someone check this out. Because unfortunately, a lot of times once we realize something's not right, something probably has not been right for a very long time. And it's
Right.
probably not just one
Exactly.
animal either.
Yeah, that's a good point too. You don't know how many animals over the years that, this has happened
Yes.
to. So, and even with baby that I showed with the sweater and stuff, when I posted, we needed money and stuff. I forget if I did that one or if I think the rescue did. Yeah, baby. Unfortunately, baby's injuries were so severe she didn't make it. She only lived about 2 weeks, I think 3 weeks. Yeah, she didn't make it. But that's part of rescue. You do the best you can. You do everything you can, but and you just hope for the best. Sometimes you just don't know.
And you
But
hope at the end too, like you helped alleviate any suffering.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, like they're in a comfortable environment that if they
mhm,
do need to be euthanized, they're under medical care and
mhm,
oversight. And hopefully that can help with, potentially, helping them transition if that's what the plan
yeah.
needs to be.
And when she was put on that first picture, the one on the left-hand side, that was the one that was posted along with the 3 others. And it just said, hey, we found this cat. It was a history. It was no drawn out, over the top thing. It was
Story.
direct.
Yes.
It was direct and right point. Hey, we found this cat. This is the condition. It needs medical. We need help. We need finances. And one of the ways that you want to, we would say, you don't have to donate to us. This is the vet. So if you want to donate to, if you see something and it's really hitting on your heartstrings, say, what's the name of the vet? If the fake rescuers don't want to give you the name of the vet, because they won't get that money back, that will go to the next animal. If
Okay, that's good to know.
it will go. It should. I can't speak for every vet, but they can ask. That's a question they can ask the vet. Say they get more than enough. Do they get that money back, or does that money come back to me? That's something. That's a
Mhm.
question you want to ask.
And
But if
most people, once again, like if that's the case and the intent is to help an animal, most people aren't going to say, well, can I have the money back? It's like, no, the whole point of it would be like to pay that forward for that intention later on. If you've raised more than enough money and it can go to helping other animals, that's a
that's
positive.
right.
Like most people aren't going to look to be getting money back to help
Yeah,
animals for a good cause. I mean, I can't even understand, that doesn't seem to make any sense because again, there's plenty of animals that need help. That's like asking like you
mhm.
did a donation to end hunger and then you're like, "Oh, I think that's like I want my $5 back because I think,
I
I mean,
know,
it doesn't
I
make
know.
any sense." It's like, "No, there's more people that are hungry beyond this." Like so it's like, again, that doesn't make any sense. When you give that's
Yeah.
going to continue to be the mission and the purpose and the,
Mhm.
not necessarily like you're giving with this major limitation, like, oh, I'm sorry, can I have my money back? Because
Yeah.
I think everyone's, been taken care of. It doesn't make sense. It does not make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And if it's a real animal
It's like,
rescuer, they've got other animals. They might not have it at that moment, but somewhere down the line, days,
yeah,
weeks,
I mean,
months, they're gonna find another animal to bring to that rescue. So, check on
yeah,
that. In fact, whenever I
yes.
ask money for animals, I put it out on Facebook myself. In some of these rescues, I say, you don't donate to me. This is the animal hospital. Give
Exactly.
them. Do your research before donating. Wait a minute. So a fake rescuer are hesitant to tell you everything about the rescue group. They don't have a history. You go to Pet Refuge. You go to, this is in our area. If you go to Scruffy Paws, and we'll put up that information later, you ask them about their rescue, they're going to be like, okay, we started here. You know, it started in such and such a place, such and such. They'll give you a date even if you get the head of it.
Yes.
They'll give you a date. There is a history. If you ask a fake animal rescue, there's no history. So they just might make up things at the top of the head, or they want to ask, or I don't know, somewhere in the 80s we started. You know, you don't know when you started your rescue. You know, you don't know if it was the 80s.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You don't know what state you started in, you know, or
Yes.
so they're hesitant about giving you too much information. So that's another sign. So ask about the rescue, where they started, you know, how long they've been in business and so forth, along with the papers that they should show. So let me see. The name of the vet. Oh, and the last one, which I already got into, you know, ask the name of the vet. And like I said, they injure these animals purposely. The worse the injury, the more people are going to open up their pocketbooks with the more money that they're going to get. And animals can cost, baby was over, I think it was over $2,000, that weight cat.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap by any means.
And we had to take her to the animal hospital that's open 24 hours, which means before you get in the door, it's $125. They charge you $125 right off the bat. A vet visit is like $115 or something like that. It's like astronomical, you know.
It is, and especially because they've been one of the only ones, I think, right, for emergency care, right, Cindy? In the state of Rhode Island, Ocean State. So again, I mean, I know people that have gone there from, you know, quite some distance. I mean, if you're having an emergency in the middle of the night, but unfortunately, I mean, you are going to be paying for it. I mean, that's not something to take lightly. They're not charging you $5. You know, no, I certainly can understand that.
So, you know what I was thinking? Maybe I can write this out in a little shorter format, and maybe, I don't know, you can put it in your description. Like maybe,
definitely.
How to spot these fake rescues and how to research the real ones to make sure that, you know, legit cleanliness too. If it's a dirty place, you know, you have to, you have to
and you've got to be careful. Even if that's a real place, you have to be careful because, like, are they potentially passing mites to each other? Is there other health concerns? I mean, again, I think that makes sense. East, I want us to end on a fun note, which is cat trivia. So, yes, definitely. Yes. It's like, this will be good. I just have 5 different questions for you, and let's see how you do. Yeah, right. And definitely. I picked cat trivia specifically because of the fact that I know, even though you're an animal lover, cats are definitely near and dear to your heart. So this is just some fun trivia questions, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. I think actually all of them are true or false. So we can start here. Okay, and they'll scroll along the bottom of the screen, but I'll read them as well. True or false? 200 feral cats prowl the park at Disneyland. Hard to control rodents. The ones who don't wear the funny outfits and speak in squeaky voices. Is that true or false?
True.
That is true. Yes. I never knew that. And like, so I had read that somewhere that Disneyland, and I believe that's also the case for Disney World. So Disneyland being in California, Disney World being in Orlando, Florida, that basically, yes, they do have feral cats that actually live in Disneyland. And that's actually how they do pest control. So I thought that was actually very, very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Here's the next one, Cindy. True or false? Cats have paw prints that are similar to a person's fingerprints. True or false?
To the best of my knowledge, just like fingerprints, their paw prints each have unique lines on their paw.
Actually, that one is false. It's actually their noses. Their nose actually, so it's interesting that their noses are actually like they have nose prints that are actually unique, just like of our fingerprints. So that one is false. Yeah, exactly. So
It was a trick
Whatever
one.
you do, don't paw print them because you might actually, they might be actually posing as each other, but their nose prints are actually similar. Yeah, their nose prints are actually their unique identifier. Okay, here's another one. True or false? I should have put cats. Cats are a big fan of sweets. True or
Oh,
false? What
oh.
did you say? Yeah, true or
Yeah,
false?
no, I'm
Cats
like,
are big.
oh, it's not even a question that I ever read about or anything. So I'm gonna guess on it. None of my cats like sweets. So I'll say false. Is it true?
False. It's actually
Oh,
false.
it is
They think
false.
cats
Oh, all
are
right.
the only mammals that actually don't have the ability to taste sweets. They actually
Oh,
can't taste anything sweet. However, I do have to say my cat Bella, which loves people food, if she can get her hands on any, her little paws on any people food, she'll try it.
uh,
She loves my mom's lemon cake, so I don't know what that's all about. But anyway,
oh,
she would eat sweets if you gave them to her, but they're saying,
oh,
but there might be like more of a texture thing. They actually say cats actually do not have the ability to taste sweets. So,
oh,
and they
okay,
might
yeah,
be one
that's
of
what
the
I
only mammals.
thought.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it would be cool. And I have to say, in
Yeah.
all fairness to your mom, her mom's a fantastic cook. I've had some of her food. You
So
know,
yeah, that
and
might be the difference. Yeah.
she's good when even the cats who can't taste like her food.
Yeah. Bella will eat like her lemon cake. And my mom, knowing her too, she'll be like, "Oh no, I'll give a piece to Bella." I'm like, no. She can't really eat a piece of cake. Like, it's like, like,
She
no, she's
didn't
like,
have it, no.
yes. And then sometimes it's like, yeah, I'll just accept and be like, yes, she ate
Mm.
it, Mom, but I actually am eating it. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
now that I'm thinking of it, it's true. Cats shouldn't have any kind of sweets because their system is not set up to process
Yes.
sugar. So they actually become a diabetic. So yeah. So yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, they're not. Yeah, and again, it makes sense that they wouldn't even have that necessarily. It might have been it might be the taste may have even evolved over time that they don't have it. Like it might have
Oh yeah.
been like one of those things like an adaptive quality, just based on the fact that because again, like you said, with the diabetes. And
Yeah,
then here's another one.
yeah. Okay, what's the
True
next
or
one?
false? Some cats are ambidextrous, but 40% are either left or right pawed.
Oh, wow, you're good. No, ask me about rescue and I can answer. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
know. I'll just I will say I can only go by my cats. I've never seen any sign of any cat that shows, but I have a feeling it's true. Just like it was a trick question. Is it true?
It is true. It is true. Actually, yes, some cats are ambidextrous, but 40% are either left or right pawed. I do know for a fact that Bella is left pawed because whenever she wants
Really?
something, she will reach out with her left paw. If she even wants
Oh,
something, she'll have it up and then she'll reach out with it. So, but for
oh,
Sabrina, I have no idea which way she goes. She might be ambidextrous.
oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that is true. And I'll send you the website, Cindy, because there's a
oh
lot
yeah.
of there's tons of facts and I always
Oh,
like looking
send it
at some
to
fun facts
me.
like
Yeah,
this. I can
definitely.
guarantee you should get this next one right.
All right.
So, true or false? Cats live longer when they stay indoors. True or
Yeah,
false?
there's so many predators in so many ways. Yeah, they live longer. That's another reason why you should keep them indoors.
Yep,
Their
that is
lives are
true.
shorter. Yeah,
Yep.
and feeding feral cats too over the years, their lifespan might be 5 to 8 years. 8 years would be a lot, but
Okay.
they live 5, 6, 7 years. They're doing good. So yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes,
All
that's
right, I knew that
definitely good job.
one.
Thank you for participating again. Thank you
Oh,
so much
thank
for
you for
being on the
teaching
show.
me.
I'm
Teaching me
sorry?
things I didn't know. Thank you for teaching me things I didn't know about cats. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm your gal with like finding like fun trivia facts and different things,
Whoa.
but I figured it would be something fun and just something that,
Yeah,
our
that is
viewers and
smart.
listeners could hear and see if they can guess as well, and definitely something fun. But I have to say thank you, Cindy. It's been such a pleasure having you. As always,
Yeah.
everyone can find the meetup. This episode, we'll have several episodes here in terms of just going over different things about cats and and animals and animal rehabilitation and rescue. And again, this is something that it obviously shows you're passionate about. I'm passionate about in terms of my fur babies, and I certainly appreciate you coming, on the Meetup with MeLa show, especially in the month of March, where we're honoring amazing women like yourself. And
Oh, thank
again, I really appreciate that. And for
you.
everyone, thank you so much again for listening. Like I said, you can find me on Meetup with MeLa on Facebook and Instagram, and also this episode and many more you can find on the Meetup with MeLa YouTube page. So thanks again. I appreciate everything, and thank you so much, Cindy. I
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much
having
for
you.
asking me. Yeah, I feel honored. Thank you so much. It's so nice to
Yep.
get that message out because I am very
Yes.
passionate. Very
Yes.
passionate
Thank you. And
about
it
it.
shows, and
I
you're the
can't
best.
believe
And
we've been talking all these. I can't believe it's 10:18 already.
yes,
We've
definitely.
been
And we could
talking.
go on for much longer.
I
And I have to
know.
say, I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you in the future. So thank you so much. And
Yes.
everyone, thank you for listening.
Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone. Thanks again, Melissa.
No problem. Bye.